Persona 3 Remake is potentially down the pipeline, and let's take a minute to take a step back and evaluate the state of Persona 3 and what could be done for a remake to keep the same charm and complexity of the game while fleshing it out or ironing out some rough edges. Let's talk about what a potential Persona 3 remake needs to do. Right, so quick background. There's two real main versions of Persona 3. Fez, short for Festival, and Portable, which is the version that was recently ported. Unlike their Persona 4 and 5 counterparts, there's no singular definitive version of Persona 3, like Golden for Persona 4 or Royal for Persona 5. Each of these two games specializes in different aspects of the Persona 3 experience, with Fez adding new content, with the epilogue entitled The Answer, having full cinematics and walkable overworld locations, while having AI-controlled party members in combat and having the party status such as tired, or sick, good, or great, bearing greater responsibility and importance. Portable goes for the visual novel feel, where cutscenes and animations are replaced with PNGs in a visual novel-esque adventure. However, combat is more in line with Persona 4, whereas party members can now be directly controlled by the player, and party members don't just leave you high and dry because they want to get a quick nap in when you just wanted to save. There's some other smaller changes like fusion attacks being consumables in Portable, but the biggest departure is the new route in Portable, allowing you to play as the female protagonist for new or different social links than what is available for the male MC. And alongside this, some major story changes can also occur. Now, I've talked about before why I felt Persona 3 needed a remake, link in the description, because I felt a definitive version for this game with the strengths from both of these versions would be for the best. But also, let's talk about what else Persona 3 Remake needs to do, or just my overall wish list of things that I hope it does. Because Persona 3 is an older game, and it was really the first attempt Atlus was doing to transition the series farther away from its Shin Megami Tensei origins in Persona 1 and 2. Inclusion of the social link system and the life sim aspects of the game are significant components integral to the modern Persona game we all think about. And there's some quality of life or other changes that could be incorporated to freshen up Persona 3 so that it can retain that aforementioned charm, but also just make it overall a smoother experience, or a deeper one. Now, I think the biggest thing the remake needs to do is not even a change, it's making sure that the look, feel, and difficulty of Persona 3 is maintained. Persona 3 is a harsh experience, not afraid to beat you down, and honestly, I like that. It fits with the theme of death hanging over the game and every aspect of it, and makes Tartarus feel threatening. Portable has difficulty options, and yeah, you can keep difficulty options, but I don't think social links or the mechanics themselves need to be dumbed down or streamlined, whatever you want to call it. Let there be regression and strategy in choosing when to do certain social links or selecting certain dialogue options. Heck, you can even bring back the tired mechanic from Fez. Just let me save inside Tartarus, so if I want a full restore of my party's health and SP without using my items, then I have to pay attention to their status, and if they're tired or not. It's something to manage that also makes expeditions into Tartarus feel threatening, which is something that should be preserved. However, I'm also a big advocate of letting the player save anywhere and whenever. Because let's be honest, sometimes stuff just comes up, and being punished in the game despite the fact I don't want to leave Tartarus, nor do I need healing, nor do I want to potentially replay a large chunk of the game, because I still want to keep going in that run, and I just need to put the controller down for a bit, it just feels god-awful if I then have to lose my entire party because they're tired. So just let me save inside Tartarus without returning to the entrance and without that whole mechanic of being able to recharge my entire party's health and SP, and I'm good. Okay, bear with me here. I think some more story could also be added, and I'm talking strictly first half. The pacing of the game is honestly too slow for the first half as they slowly trickle in more characters, like Fuka for instance, into the main cast, and I think you can keep the stories that were there originally, but add to them and flesh them out. Make me care about Fuka as a character before we just end up fighting her in Tartarus, for instance. Show us scenes that led to that and flesh that character out alongside the others. Enable party-based social links from the start for characters like Junpei, Yukari, Akihiko, when he gets back after his arm heals, and then maybe Mitsuru when she becomes playable, just to smooth out the experience. Heck, you can even maintain the original social links if you want, and just do a series of events, similar to Elizabeth's, if you want, since a lot of your evenings are just kind of arcade spam. Let the player pair up with another party member to unravel a little mini story for them, or something to flesh out the cast earlier into the experience, so the entire narrative isn't as backloaded as it is, while still gaining stats for gods and academics and charm. So we could still do the original social links with upgraded graphics while getting new stories at night, so the pace of progression in the original world would be preserved while still adding to the overall experience. Because the social links that are there at night aren't all that common, and there's still plenty of days when you're probably just spamming the arcade that you could also just pair up with a nice little mini story or something. Another thing you could potentially flesh out that would arguably make the experience even more difficult, but in my opinion more engaging as well, is for those Tartarus expeditions where we have to rescue people, maybe pair a little mini boss alongside them that we have to defeat that maybe has a unique ability or two for us to be on the lookout for. Reincorporate fusion attacks and expand on them. Having them as consumables kind of kills their charm for me. But if you expand the amount of fusion attacks that are there to the point where you don't feel like you need to keep Pixie and Apsaris for cadenza way past when you want them, that could also work. Or even give the player 2 extra fusion specific slots to put personas in where the only ability or benefit you get out of them is the ability to use those two's fusion spell. It could be some cool customization as you judge who you want to use for abilities or relegate to just fusion. Personally, I think Persona 3 could also be aided by a couple minigames. Let karaoke or the arcade games be actual minigames that you can do better in for better rewards. Maybe find some kind of analog to the darts minigame from Persona 5. Obviously, there's no baton pass, so maybe for one more's up the damage if y'all went to the arcade with a specific character and did, say, whack-a-mole really well with them. Something like that could be cool. Or let them recharge a bit of SP, be careful not to make the game a cakewalk, but fleshing out the abilities and unique properties of these characters while upping the customization progression could make for some really fun party composition while also making Remake feel fresh and new in terms of its overall pacing. Now, I don't think this next one is needed, but it'd be a nice touch. Let us customize our rooms. In Golden, we could put up a completed Gundams that we built at night. That was cool. And in 5, we acquired little souvenirs from certain events that we could hang up in the room as well. There's a great sense of visual progression. When I max out a social link in P3, we get an item from that social link. Let me display it. If I do really well in all the arcade games, give me a little joystick to put up in the room. If you nail the karaoke, give the player a microphone trophy or something. Let us frame the movie tickets we get from going to the movies with various characters during film festivals and turn them into a collage or something that's hung up on the wall. You even have that be cross playthrough, so if you go for a New Game Plus playthrough, you can maintain the tickets you had from before and still continue trying to flesh that out. Doesn't have to give you any real world benefit or anything like that. Just something to do if you want to do it. And maybe a little bookshelf that we can put the notes we acquire by being Wings of Tartarus that we would read through at our convenience, which would also visually show us in the bedroom how much of Tartarus we have done. All of this could be an excellent way of showing visual progression throughout the game and let us place them to add a flair of individuality. See what I mean? There's plenty of ways to flesh out the experience and feel of Persona 3 without compromising what made the game so memorable and charming to begin with. You don't need to make the game quote-unquote easier or simple, or quote-unquote modernized. Just lean into its strengths and iron out those rough edges by incorporating more elements that feel in line with the heart of Persona 3. Tartarus could use some renovations as well, and I think the roguelike genre could serve as excellent inspiration here. Increase the variety and breadth of random floors and let the player find some power-ups useful for a floor or two, maybe, while other floors can give some rather difficult challenges. Kiss, cuss, give and take. Stuff like that. Now this one I'm kind of here or there on because it's very easy to go way too hard or way too easy here and just mess up the overall balancing, but since the story is so rooted in Tartarus as a concept, I think taking a step into a genre where places like Tartarus are native too could really help us, or at least help up the variety of the experience here. More types of floors, more visual variety, more mechanical variety, maybe a few rudimentary puzzles here or there. Some player choice can go down hallway A, B, or C. A may have traps, B may have more enemies, C may just have nothing for you. You could even set up a little hotspot or a little base camp like how we had the safe rooms in P5 in Mementos. You can have something like that in P3. Now, you don't want to have them too often where it makes Tartarus less threatening, so you don't want to enable a lot of things to really heal, like tents and stuff like that. You don't need that, in my opinion. But maybe if you clear out a floor or a specific room, then the party will say, hey, this is kind of isolated enough. We could probably rest here for a little bit. You can let the player save there, and maybe even have the chance for a little dialogue option where the characters can exchange little campfire stories or just talk about how they're feeling at that moment. Injects more personality while not compromising the difficulty of the area all that much or in a significant degree, where it feels antithetical to the feeling of Persona 3. You could also do something along the lines of what Royal did for Mementos, where you had that progression tree. Remember that crap? Where you could make it so enemies drop more XP, money, or items depending upon what spec you go into? That's a great idea, and they added collectibles to Mementos to incentivize the player. It made Mementos more enjoyable going from P5 to P5 Royal. Straight up rip that out of Royal and bring it here as well. That would work so well for Tartarus. And you can have different effects for each block of Tartarus if you want, or different little mini trees to spec into to help you specialize in that block of Tartarus. And have some overarching effects as well. There's a lot of potential in fleshing out that system and iterating on it. And that's where I think the Persona 3 remake could really shine, is not necessarily in any overarching grandiose changes. It could benefit from some of those, sure, but I feel a lot of those just little investments here and there into the overall gameplay loop to flesh it out, make it more engaging and more engrossing, while adding more player agency and upping even potentially the difficulty or the customization or the sheer options that are there. It could up the experience and make it more engaging and more fun and enjoyable. And I think that's where the remake could really potentially shine. So those are just a few of my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and leave a like and subscribe if you like the video and you want to see more content. I know I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to call the video there for the day. Leave a comment down below with what you would like to see from a Persona 3 remake. Would you like to see some changes? Would you like to see mostly just a blend between Fez or Portable? What do you want to see? I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions. So stay safe, everybody. Have a great day. Go play some video games if you can. And as always, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.